So yeah, I did go to Blaine High School as well. So I graduated a long time ago. But for dental hygienist, I went to my I went to the U of M. So it was a 4-year degree. So it was pretty hard to get in. Usually, you have to apply like a year before, and um, basically sometimes there's a waiting list, but usually there's probably like 23 students that usually get in per year, so it's pretty competitive. Let's see, as a dental hygienist, what we do is usually we are providing preventive educational and uh, therapeutic dental services to patients. We're usually educating them of how they can improve their oral health. For oral health, it's basically try to making sure that there's no gingivitis or slowing progressing your periodontal disease, which there's two types of gum disease. We got gingivitis and periodontitis. Basically, um, one that's really bad is like bone loss, which is periodontal disease. Gingivitis is usually when your gums are like really red, sore, it bleeds. So why did I choose this career? Well, I wanted to be, somewhere in the health field. When I was in high school, I like helping people. I liked talking to, people as well. And I did a job shadow back, I think it was like senior year. And when I job shadowed a friend of Robert's, I liked what the person I was shadowing was doing on a typical, daily basis. On a daily basis, we're usually working about, 8 hours, depending on the office. We usually see about 8 to 12 patients a day. It could be more than that, but usually 1 hour is for a patient. And what we'll do is we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll let them know what we're going to be doing at that appointment, such as taking x-rays, doing a cleaning, and having the doctor come in and take a look. And then also we're going to review like their medical history with them, trying to see if there's any contradictions with their medications or health, because it's kind of important to know what we're dealing with when we're seeing each patient, because each patient is different. And it's a really rewarding career too, because it's not always the typical job that you go Monday through Friday doing the same thing over. Every patient is different, and they can offer some type of new knowledge or just conversation. um, During my job, what I typically do is, I'll take the x-rays, I'll do a cleaning, I'll talk with the patients of what they can do to improve their oral health, such as, showing them and telling them about how to brush their teeth, floss. Um, I do like some sealants. I do sometimes on occasion give injections. So if you guys, are scared of needles, then maybe, might not be the right one. But, later on, before, I was kind of scared of, poking people with needles. But overall, later on, you get used to it, and then you get more confident in your skills.
So what was the journey of your career path and how did you get there? I think you talked a little bit about admissions, but
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah. So in high school, I was looking up, schools first to know where to go, and that's one of the first things you got to do is looking up where you might want to go and what schools offer this program. And it could be, it could be any other degrees that you guys are looking for. And then once you find out what degree you want to look for, then you want to, see what schools offer it. And then once you find that out is when you want to contact the school admissions and see what requirements they require you to have in order to apply for that program. So when I applied to the U of M, they recommended some courses that I take was like anatomy, physiology, biology classes. Um, we have some chemistry, basically, some composition writing class, psychology, sociology, and statistics. So those are basically the main general requirements to get into the program at the U of M. And because a lot of the classes that you do take in dental hygiene are like biology stuff. Um, so it's kind of like, a lot of the health. And then eventually, you'll take some dental classes. Let's see. Some challenges also is just applying everywhere. I had applied to like 5 different schools, and you have to write like tons of like essay papers. I think just maybe one as to why you want to go into this field. Let's see what else. Just knowing what classes transfer over to the college. That's another thing. And I know that our Brown is pretty good at, trying to figure out which of your courses that you take during high school and college can transfer over.
What does your work-life balance look like? Do you have free time, and what is your workload like?
So like I said, it also depends on what kind of practice that you work for. You can work for like a private practice or a basically a big company, and it all depends on. Um, it also depends, like, what practice you work for. So for my job, I work 3 days a week for 12 hours for 3 days, and then I have 4 days off. So it's pretty good. That's a lot of free time that I have sometimes. So I also do, many other things besides when I'm done working. I'll learn about stocks or, exercise a lot or play games. So if you still like to play games. But let's see, the hardest thing that I faced, I think it's just, being able to talk to these patients because, they're going to be seeing you for the first time as well. So they might be, nervous. They might be scared coming in the dental office because everyone, the majority of the people have, their dental fears and anxiety. So you have to be that person that steps up and, try to get them out of their comfort zone. So before, when I was in high school, I was a pretty shy guy, but later on, I turned to be, not so shy. So it's a pretty good, rewarding career as well. But yeah, it's just trying to get them out of the comfort zone. You got to like talk to them, and being there and trying to educate them, even though they might not want to be educated. But it's just getting them out of their comfort zone. That way they can start appreciating dental work. That way they can keep on coming back. That way they can improve their oral health.
One of the students asked, so when someone goes to a dentist to get their teeth cleaned, would you be the person to do that?
First one, yeah. Usually so basically I'll be calling them back into my chair. And then I will be asking, all these medical questions about them. Why do they come? If they have any concerns, pain. So I would be doing that first before the doctor comes. It depends on different practices as well. Sometimes the doctor does come and they will introduce themselves as well. But at my practice, I would be the first ones talking to them first, and then the doctor will come in after when I'm done to check on basically the cleans and looking at the x-rays to see if they have any cavities or anything else.
How long after graduation were you able to find a job and get accepted?
Oh, It was pretty fast for me because in dental hygiene, as a dental hygienist, a lot of offices are always hiring. So when I first graduated, the second day I applied online, like on Craigslist at the time, and the next day they called me for office visit interview, and then after that, it was like 2 days after they're like, oh, you want the job? So it's really in high demand right now. I know some offices are often like hiring bonus, like they want you so bad they're willing to pay you an extra fee to come work for them. So it's pretty good. Dental assistants.
That since you said every day is different and new experience with different patients, did you ever feel like this wasn't the field for you, or ever feel like giving up while dealing with a patient?
Um, so yeah, every day is different. There's some days where I've never felt where I just wanted to quit the job, but there's going to be some times where face where you might be behind because the patient comes in late, and then you feel you get stressed a little bit because you're behind, and then now your next patient is showing up. A lot of times those incidences, basically, you just gotta take a deep breath, and then see if anyone can help you. And there's also going to be time where patients are like a pain in the butt, and you got to deal with it. And the only way is just know that they might have some problems of their own, and they might be just taken out on you. And in the end of the day, it's not your fault, and they might express it the wrong way. Not many people can express the right way. Some people they usually don't talk to people, so that might be an awkward thing for them as well. But yeah, I've never felt where it was super hard dealing with patients. Never wanted to quit.
How did you know this was the right career for you?
When I was job shadowing a person at like dental park dental, I watched how a lot of the dental hygienists are really happy. They're always smiling, and they don't usually have to work on weekends. So if you're a type of person that don't like to work on weekends, this might be a really good job as well. Also, you're in a healthcare field, so you're always helping people. So I like to help people. So I like that as well. Along with the salary, it's pretty good. It's about around 60,000 and above. So that's one of the motivations as well, along with just knowing that you're helping people, which is the biggest thing.
Was this your
If
first
you're,
career choice?
yes, it was. Or actually, you know what? It was an accountant. Accounting was my first choice, but then I realized that I didn't like to be in an office and like crunch numbers all day. So I figured I needed something else. And what's special about dental hygiene is that they have the same similar courses as nursing. So if you didn't like nursing, or you didn't like dental hygiene, you can always go for nursing because they are similar classes to get in. So my second option was becoming a nurse if I didn't get accepted for dental hygiene, because it would have been similar in a way.
One of the students asked us, who would you suggest this job to?
Well, it kind of depends because um, if you like talking to people, but before, like I said, I was a shy person, and I became, not so shy anymore. So it could be, either or. But if you like um, talking to people on an everyday basis, that's one thing. If you like working with your hands, with your fingers, that's one thing. If you like to work like as an independent sometimes, because I know some people, they don't like their boss looking at them all the time, and this is a job that you see the patient and then you just get the doctor. So you're kind of independent most of the time, something like that. If you like to be um, basically know where you're going every day to work, because I know some people they might have to go around different places. If you like working with kids as well, there's a pediatrics where you can work with kids.
Do you need
Yeah.
different licensing for different states?
Oh, yeah. With licensing, so as a dental hygienist, you do need your license. Every 2 years, you would have to renew them. And when you renew them, you can take classes online. That's free. That you can just take it, and then once you have a certain amount of credits, which is like 25 credits or 12 credits, no, 25 credits for every 2 years, and then you can just renew it. So that's pretty cool. You can do it on your own time. Different states require different licenses. I know, like in the Midwest, all those states in the Midwest, they just require they share the same license. If you were to go to like California or Texas, you might have to take additional um, something where you would have to apply to work in Texas if you were going to move in Texas or somewhere else. Oh,
What
taking to get licensed. So when you graduate, you do have to take license test, and it's one of the biggest stress things in um, one of the things that most students stress out about in school is if you're passing or failing it. And a lot of times, I think like 90% of the time people pass on the license test. And the license test is basically two types of things: is clinical testing, where you'll be seeing like an actual patient, and they're going to be grading you on, if you're doing everything correctly, if you're like cleaning correctly, if you're taking the X-rays correctly, how well you're taking care of the patient, when you give injections, when you're writing it down. And then another part, of the license test is like 350 questions test for like 3 hours on a computer. That's just going to test your knowledge of, dentistry, of, what to do. Um, what happens if you don't pass it? Well, you can always take it again. It's not like, you fail once and you're done for life. You can take it again, I think, within like the next month. The only thing is that it can cost some money. I think it costs like $1,000 to retake the test. It sounds like a lot, but when you're officially a dental hygienist, you're going to be making a lot more money um, than that. Let's see, how long did I go to school for? I took I think for about 6 years. I had like a 2 year associate's degree at AR, and then I had some other classes taken at a different college because I wanted to go into the hygiene over there, and they required a certain class than other schools didn't. So I wanted to make sure that I could get into the program for multiple colleges. That way, you're not waiting. And I did have to I end up waiting for about 6 months one time. And that's when I decided, like, oh, maybe I should go for nursing as well, just in case. So I applied for nursing, but then I ended up getting in for dental hygiene. But usually, um, you for a dental hygienist, you can get two types of degrees. You can go for the associate's degree, which is like a 2 year, or the bachelor's. The difference between them is that um, one can lead to teaching later on if you like teaching, and the other one is basically just working in the field. Because as to become a teacher later on for dental hygiene, you would have to have like a master's. in dental hygiene.
How were those years in school? Was the workload in school dreadful or was it manageable? And then what is something you wish you knew before going into this field?
So they're kind of related to the another one is when going to this program, the course, the workload. It's a lot different than um, like regular college because you definitely have to know how to study, which most students back when they're in high school or early college, they don't really know the skills for studying because when I say study, you actually have to like study and then read the book and then know the information. That way, when they test you, you know exactly what it is because you usually have like a time limit as well. But then again, I was a bad student in high school. I didn't know how to study too well, and I learned really fast how to study. And it takes, I'd say on average when I was studying at the university per day, it was at least 2 hours. And then on test day, more like 24 hours. But that was one thing I wish I would have known before going into is that probably just manage time management because you got to figure out, when are you going to do this project versus the other project, and then just having time to study, and then also having time to relax as well. Because if you're, not um, having time for each, then you can get burnt out, and then you can just have the feeling of, oh, it's too hard and give up. But there's only it's most of the time it's going to be motivation and how bad you want it. There was like one student that quit in my program, but that was just one, so everyone else stayed.
What keeps you motivated?
Basically, when I was in school, what kept me motivated is that, oh, I wanted to better myself and get this college degree and make something of my life where you know later on I'll have something to look back and feel like, oh, I've accomplished this. Because now once you reach that far, you're going to have new goals that you want to set as well, so it keeps you ongoing and thinking what you can do better. Also, um, being able to not go back to school anymore. Because I know some people were like, oh, they want to, just be done after, college. Well, this could be the career, as well. Once you get the degree and you start working, then you don't have to go back to school unless you want to go back to school. But in my field, there's a lot of student or a lot of coworkers that are hygienists that they love it so much, and they end up going back to become a dental therapist or a doctor, which is pretty exciting. And I'm thinking, maybe later on I might want to go to get my master's and teach dental hygiene. So that's something, that's always good looking out for.
What is an advice you would give to someone who just started working?
Oh, as a dental hygienist, just, take some time and maybe take some notes and um, write down, the things that you might need to improve. Ask feedback of your coworkers, and they can always give you advice. Because when you work at a new place, there's going to be a lot of things that you don't know, and they're pretty friendly people where they're going to help you um, figure out what to do and where to be. What it
Uh,
was like.
how was a normal college day for you? Your time schedule for studying, school, relaxing?
Okay, so I'd go to the bus stop around like 7. I'll show up to class at like 8, and then it goes from 8 to like noon, and then you'll have your lunch, and then you'll have clinicals where you'll see a patient where you have this teachers looking after you, and you'll have like that patient to like 3, and then you have another class. And then once that day is done, then you would have like 4 o'clock to do whatever you want, study for like 2 3 hours, and then uh, go to bed, take a nap, sleep, do whatever. Um, some people, it's pretty manageable. Some people worked full-time jobs when they were in this degree. So it's all about time management. And then, if you do work full-time job, just know that on the weekends, you're going to be doing a lot of homework, studying. But for me, uh, I didn't have to put too much time into studying over the weekend because I was doing it during the week. But yeah, you'll still have plenty of time to do other things once you figure out your time management skills, which is a really big thing high school and college students would need to know.
Were you able to have hands-on experience during the program? And I think we have 1 minute left before we get kicked out.
Yep. You have plenty of hands-on experience. Basically, the first year you're going to be, doing all the coursework. Actually, probably like 3/4. You'll have, the coursework, and then the last semester of that first year, you'll start seeing patients, which is pretty exciting. And that's when you'll, start to learn what to do and how to, talk to these patients. That way, you don't graduate and then they let you go and you're like, oh, what do I do now? They're gonna lead you through the way. So, I mean, I had a fun experience, in college. Certain things that they probably don't talk in college is like insurance. Insurance is a big thing, but that's something that, once you're in the program and nothing to worry about. Any more questions before you get kicked out?
What college did you go to?
I went to the U of M.
Oh, okay. That's great to hear.
Yep.